What's up, guys? I'm Jesse.
And I'm Afton.
And this is the Much Much Podcast. We are once again excited to be with you.
Yes,
and we have some awesome topics this week.
Oh, I am so excited about this.
Let's do our Much Much moment first. She forgot. I'll go first. Last week, you'll hear me clear my throat a lot. I was so sick last week. It was a respiratory something, and I was down and out. Coughing. I was super annoying last week, like more so than usual. But you hear me coughing and clearing my throat, that is why. But we're over it now.
Yay!
Yay!
Clap, clap, clap. If you're not watching, we're clapping.
We're clapping. Okay.
Mine is going to be, I have been super overproductive this week, and that is normally not me, but I have been getting so much stuff done. Do you ever just get one of those cleaning sprees?
Mm-hmm. I love those.
And you're like I literally went through every inch of my bedroom and my daughter's bedroom, and we came out with trash bags full of stuff. And it just felt freeing, okay? So that's my win. And also, yeah, I have a lot more stuff to do too, but that's a start, you know?
Nothing makes me feel better than de-junking the house.
And sheets. Clean sheets.
Clean sheets.
I told Jesse this. There is nothing more gratifying than laying in a bed with clean sheets.
Crisp sheets.
Hashtag adult life.
Yes.
Okay.
So, we're coming to you for the next couple episodes, probably, if not more, from Ecclesiastes.
Yes, I'm so excited about this. This was definitely something that was laid on my heart. I feel like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And she was like, what are we going to talk about? I already have it. I know exactly what we're supposed to. And I'm super excited about this. This is good stuff, guys.
Yes.
So,
I don't know if, I'm just going to open with this. If you've never spent time reading Ecclesiastes, you should. You should actually spend the time studying and reading Ecclesiastes. So when you first mentioned this, I just listened to a podcast that was just Ali Yost reading Ecclesiastes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm surface level, I'm like, this is so depressing. Because when you first just read it at surface level, it kind of comes off as depressing.
And I wanted to say this for this because I was going to tell you this. I find it the opposite.
Really?
In this, I think it's the season of life I'm in. If I was to read this 10 years ago, I probably would have said that. I find it encouraging. And the reason being is because he's so much like us in searching, and that we're going to get into, but it's just, I find it encouraging.
And once I started studying and diving in, I was like, wow, this is really profound.
Yeah, it is.
But just surface level.
Yeah.
Because
you're all right. If you were just to read it in surface level, it would be this is depressing.
Yes.
What is this guy? But it all leads back to the one.
Because the second verse, just to start us off, Ecclesiastes 1:2 says, everything is meaningless, says the teacher, completely meaningless. So you're like, what are we about to start reading? But what's so fascinating is Ecclesiastes 1 and 2 and 3. I mean, he starts his book out with King Solomon is basically doing an experiment. He is trying to find, he's on this search for meaning. And so he takes you through all of these different avenues of trying to find meaning in this life, and what it's like to live under the sun. He says under the sun a lot as well, just meaning in this world. So he's trying to find a purpose and a meaning in this world, and he pursues all of these things that all of us pursue.
Yeah.
So he's pursuing work, pleasure, wisdom, and he did it more thoroughly than anyone in history because he had so much accessibility to all of these things. He could do whatever he wanted.
Right.
So he did it, and he did it to the nth degree. And what he finds is there is no true meaning without God.
Yeah.
And it is really, really amazing to read it and to just, like, for someone who has the world at his feet to be like, this still isn't it. This still isn't going to give you what you need.
Yeah, and it says, generations come and generations go, but the earth never changes. The sun rises and the sun sets and hurries around to rise again. The wind blows south and then turns north, around and around. It goes blowing in circles. No matter how much we see, we are never satisfied. No matter how much we hear, we are not content. And that resonates with me because I have lived a life that I always tell my kids, you need to be content. You need to be content. And because I was taught that.
Mm-hmm.
I was always said, my mom always said that, well, you need to be content.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my mind, I'm always like, am I content with this? Am I content with the way that this is going in my life? Am I content with my car? Am I content with whatever it might be? And so our first question.
Yeah, that, like, be grateful for what you have.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like we were raised on that generation, like, be grateful for what you do have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Mm-hmm.
First question is, have you ever achieved something you thought would satisfy you only to find that it didn't? And I think this is super easy for me to just know it. Like I feel like I am a very adventurous person,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm always looking for the next thing. I love to vacation. I love to plan events. I feel like I like to do things that I'm always looking forward to the next one. My husband jokes around and says, I'm planning a vacation on the vacation.
Yeah.
And that's so me.
Yeah.
And so once that goal is accomplished, or even before, I'm already looking for that next one. And I think that's exactly what Solomon was doing and wrestling with in Ecclesiastes. He pursued wisdom, pleasure, accomplishments, possession, success, but yet he kept finding himself wanting more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's me.
Yeah.
I always, we just got back from Hawaii. And Hawaii, guys, is this beautiful, beautiful place. But in my mind, I'm thinking, what's better? What's next?
Yeah.
How can I up this? And so I realized that many of the things I thought that would bring me that lasting satisfaction only brought temporary enjoyment. Now, those are gifts to enjoy, which God gave us that, but not things that we should be building our identity on or having fulfillment in, if that makes sense.
That's really good.
So,
and I feel like humans are just naturally geared towards this need to satisfy.
Yeah.
And we're always going to be searching for something greater than temporary accomplishments and experiences. And when we look to worldly things, we're never going to be satisfied by those things.
So good. So I'm going to ask you, what are some modern pursuits that people look to for meaning?
Work is probably a big one.
Yeah, for sure.
And friendships, like validation from people, like wanting to be liked, wanting to be popular, funny, right? What do you think?
I would say the same thing, like success, like money, success, like what's going to be the likes.
Yeah, likes. That's a good one. Yeah,
Just things like that. That's which is so funny because if we were to look back 20 years ago, I mean, I'm sure money would have been that, but likes would not have been a thing. And so that's just funny that's something that culture, technology, it's evolved and it changes.
Mm-hmm. So Solomon starts out, like, some of his tests. The first one that we're going to talk about is his willingness to go be successful and have a bunch of achievements. And so Solomon in Ecclesiastes 2:4-8 said, I also try to find meaning by building huge homes for myself and planting beautiful vineyards. I made gardens and parks and filled them with all kinds of fruit trees. I collected great sums of silver and gold, and I had everything a man could desire. And what he finds is, it still wasn't it. it still wasn't going to satisfy.
And that's going to be the repetitive, what we're going to be talking about through this, basically this whole.
And I feel like you think about it in like modern age, like you work towards a goal, like, and say you get a promotion at work, you're automatically like, okay, how do I get the next one? It's never like, let's just be in the moment and enjoy where we are right now and celebrate the accomplishment that we made. It's like, okay, what's next? Like you were saying about vacation.
Yeah, it's true. Why is it tempting to tie our identity to our work? And so this one was kind of hard for me. Is it hard for you? Probably not. It's hard for you.
Not so. It's funny because you and I have like very different opinions on everything. So when we talk about the Enneagram, if you know the Enneagram, I'm an Enneagram 3, and so I am driven by achievement. And so for me to tie my identity to my work is very easy because for a 3, your identity comes from your achievements. So if you're not successful, you're nobody. If you're not winning, if you're not succeeding, if you're not growing, climbing the corporate ladder, all of those things, then you're not, in your mind, you're not where you want to be.
Right.
And so it's really easy for me to say my identity hinges on my work, on what I've accomplished.
There's a red button up there.
Yeah, that means we're recording.
Okay, just making sure.
Our battery keeps dying, and so now we're locked in.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, the red is good.
Okay. Well, I feel like I can be like that to a sense, but not as much. But I also think too. I think it's more difficult for me to answer because when you probably love what you do. I generally love what I do, and obviously I work in ministry, and so ministry is part of my calling. I feel like my purpose, but I also feel like it can start to become who I am and who I identify as very easily. While it's a good thing, like I often wonder, like if you were to strip that all from me, like where would I be? And that kind of actually challenged me, honestly. So like, what if he calls me into a different season? What if he calls me into a different ministry? What if he calls me to a 9-to-5 job?
Yeah.
Like, what if he was to call me to do something like that? Like, it challenged me to really think about, okay, where is my purpose and my identity truly come from? Yeah. So even though I am in ministry and I work for that, like, that's not where I want my purpose. My purpose comes from God.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so, I feel like Ecclesiastes reminds me that even good things weren't meant to carry the weight of my identity.
That's right.
My work is part of my calling, but it isn't my identity. My identity is first and foremost that I am a daughter of God. And so,
yeah, and I had a similar note on this. Like, work is never intended to be our ultimate source of meaning. And I love the verse, like Colossians 3:23, whatever you do, work for it as if you're working for the Lord and not for man. And so for me, who my full-time job is not in ministry, it's very easy to work for the satisfaction of people.
right.
And so this verse is very important when it comes to that, because it comes back to the heart posture of God has placed me here for a reason, and if I do this job as if I'm working for Him and not for man, then I'm fulfilling my purpose while I'm here.
It's so good. I hear that a lot from my husband, like similar to that. And I love that because I really haven't had ministry has been so much in my life for a long time now. But it kind of comes to that question too. You could ask yourself, would I still know who I am if the title, position, or responsibilities were taken away from me? And that's the same, not even in your job, but like I think about that in motherhood.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm getting ready to go into that season of my kids are going to be out, which is like that title is that's not taken away, but a lot of us carry that.
Yeah.
Like for so long, we're a mother, you know? And then it's like, okay, now what? Like, what do I do now?
It's funny too, because on our first episode when we introduced ourselves, It's like, hi, I'm Jesse. I'm a mom of two. Like, that was like one of the first things out of her mouth. That that is our our main.
Which it should be.
Yeah,
But it's just like you put all you. It's just.
But what about when?
Yeah, and that's
you're not having a mother every day
exactly.
and they're out on their own. So after work, Solomon pursues pleasure. And so he explored entertainment, luxury, possessions, laughter, every form of earthly enjoyment available to him. And by every, they mean,
to do this.
They mean every.
Not really. Like
It says all his concubines.
well, I don't mean that. Sorry.
That's what I meant.
No, but like, like you look at that and you're like, he did it all.
Yeah, he did the whole gamut of things to do. And it says in Ecclesiastes 2:1, he says, come on, let's try pleasure. Let's look for the good things in life. And he did. He went and did all the things.
It's just, when I said that, it reminds me too, like, obviously I don't want to do all that, but my husband's always, Casey's always saying, well, I've never had $1 million, but I wouldn't mind trying it out.
Yeah.
Like, he got to try all that out, and it's like,
but
it's not all cracked up to what we think it would be.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It says, what are some of the ways to people today seek escape through pleasure? What are some ways people today seek escape through pleasure? Sorry. So this one, I think most people try to escape through pleasure because they're trying to avoid something they don't want to feel.
Yeah, I agree with that. A lot of it's numbing.
It's numbing, right? Stress, loneliness, disappointment, anxiety, boredom, or just even the pressures of everyday life. I have like all of these, like even boredom. Like we try to escape boredom.
Yes.
And then we want boredom. And then we're like, I don't want to be this busy. But then you're bored and you're like, I don't want to be bored either.
Yeah.
So it's like this toss up.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure it looks way different today than it did in Solomon's day, but motivation is often the same. People escape through endless scrolling on Facebook or social media. We binge watch. By the way, these are great because I feel like this is something I've done all of these. Shopping and constantly buying the next thing.
Yep.
Food or emotional eating.
Guilty.
Busyness and overcommitting.
Yep.
Travel or always planning the next trip. Entertainment and distractions, pursuing success, recognition, or achievement. And like I said, none of these things are wrong. No, they're not wrong to have. But the question is whether we're enjoying them or using them to avoid dealing with what's really going on inside. Like, are we using it? Has it become an idol to us? Is it distracting us from what we are calling it, what we should be pursuing, what we should be doing, if that makes sense?
And I just noted that, like, God created good things for us to enjoy. Like, He wanted us to have enjoyment. But it becomes really empty when it replaces the giver himself.
Yeah.
And some things that bring us immediate joy or instant gratification also times bring sin, they bring shame, they bring regret. God wants us to enjoy the things that He's made for us, but not to replace Him.
Exactly.
And all of these things that you listed are things that I'm guilty of too, but more oftentimes than not, this happens and I'm like, I regret doing that. Like, especially like the doom scrolling.
Yeah.
Never do I ever get out of a doom scroll and be like, I'm so glad I spent 20 minutes looking at TikToks.
Really funny TikToks, okay? We literally just made a really funny TikTok, okay? And unless I'm watching funnies, if I'm in a really sad mood, I will literally just get on and watch some really dumb TikToks, and it's really funny. But no, I get it. Like, I do that.
This is my guilty thing. Is now I'm like, my whatever it's called feed is like Christian talk. So then I feel less bad about it because I'm like, oh, these are like all these great clips about like ministry or a sermon or whatever, and so I feel less bad. But it's still like, God didn't tell me to watch 20 minutes of Christian TikTok. He's like, girl, read your Bible.
Yeah, exactly. It's so good. Or like constantly buying something and then it's like, why did I do that?
Yes.
Why did I buy that?
I have started this habit though that I do like
What is
is
it?
if I want to buy something, I just add it to my cart.
Oh, what?
And I have to like leave it there for a while. Because usually the next day, I'm like, I don't actually need that.
Yes, I do that too.
And I'll hit save for later. And then you know what I do later? I go clear out my whole save for later. I'm like, that was really dumb. Why was I going to buy that?
Or I'm going to tell myself, I will put like a ton of stuff in my cart. And then as I'm going to the store, I'll be like, I don't think I want that. And put it for the people, the workers put up. I know, I'm like that.
I do that also. Like,
Not
everything
at
goes in
the
the cart,
grocery
and then
store,
I'm like,
not as much at the grocery store.
I don't think I actually need that.
But like when I'm at TJ Maxx, I'm gearing up for
I'm gearing
my next vacation, and then I'm like, oh, I'm really actually not going to Fiji. I need to put that up.
I love that. So Solomon then pursues wisdom. So if you don't know who Solomon is, he is the guy who God basically said, I will give you anything that you want. So,
And actually, I was looking. It says that he was some people think he was. This might not be right, but like I was just researching stuff, and it says that they said that he might like been like a really good like teacher.
oh yeah, you sure? Well, even this says,
Actually, I wrote it down. I don't remember what
the
it
words
was.
of
Don't
the
quote me
teacher.
on that. But it was just really when I read it, I was like, oh yeah, like it was really.
so God asked him, you can have whatever you want.
Yeah.
You want money, you want a castle, you want 700 concubines, whatever. I'll give it to you. And he said, I want wisdom. And he was the wisest. Like they say, Solomon was the wisest king. Like he was the wisest person because God gave him wisdom.
And that's what I would want. I seriously, if you were to like look at all these things,
Yes.
that's the thing. Oh, I want wisdom.
Yeah,
I want it.
smart. Yeah.
But then
Is that I can do.
Yeah.
Then I can do everything.
But I love his response.
Yes.
The greater my wisdom, the greater my grief.
Yeah.
To increase knowledge only increases sorrow, and that is so true.
Yeah.
I feel like that is the. I feel like we are living in that time.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever found that having more information did not necessarily bring more peace?
I was listening to something the other day, and I don't know what it was, but they said, now you have the world at your fingertips, and they're like, I truly don't think that we are supposed to know what everybody's doing all the time. Like, not even your own friends, but
And I
to
had
know
that on
what-
there, like we're not supposed to know
Yeah.
everything
We're
that's
not-
going on. Our brains
Yep.
are so wired to just like click of a button, and it's honestly, I don't know how well it's actually going to help us.
It's interesting too because I think back to like the Tower of Babel or Babel, however you say it, and everyone spoke the same language, and they were building this tower to reach the heavens, and God confused their languages because He didn't want them to be able to communicate and wanted them like separated, you know.
Oh, that's good.
But it's interesting because now you have the world at your fingertips again, so it's like the Tower of Babel on steroids.
It's true though, and I'm really bad at this.
Yeah, me too.
I am terribly bad at this because when it asks, have you ever found that having more information not sexually, and I put to our piece, I put absolutely, and that's one word, that's Google.
Yeah.
For me, it is like,
yes.
I have gone on Google and simply asked just a question, and 30 minutes later, I'm completely convinced that I am going to die. Or that I have some rare something disease.
Yes.
And instead of it bringing me peace,
You're like,
which
just kidding.
is probably false information. I mean, it's somewhat true because I'm sure 1% have it, but
Yeah.
it brings me anxiety.
Yes. Yes.
And so I get what Solomon's saying here because when we know, knowledge is valuable, but knowledge alone doesn't always provide comfort.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
And I think that's so good because we say that, and this just popped in my head. Like, I had a lady that just I knew a lady that had a baby, and the doctor came in and said, well, your son has an 80% chance of making it if we have to go through with this. And I'm like, Well, I wouldn't have probably said that right. What?
I'm just looking.
I wouldn't have said that, like,
Yeah.
unless that actually did happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what he's talking about. Like, we know all this stuff. We know what could happen, but, like, is it really going to comfort us?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that going to comfort that person?
Yeah.
I think it's a situation basis thing. Like, have you ever looked at your mom and like, why would you tell me that?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't need to know that.
I don't need to know that. That actually made me go home and probably want to never come out of my house.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And so that's what I think that's what he was talking about here as well.
Absolutely.
I've found that there's moments when I don't need to know more information. I just need to put more trust in the knower.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yes. And I love also with Solomon concludes in Ecclesiastes that the wise and the fool still face the same fate.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what is wisdom really without God?
What it is, it's truly it's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of things can give me answers. Google can give me answers. You know, ChatGPT can give me answers. But there's only one person that can give me peace.
Yeah.
And I would much rather have peace in any circumstance than answers.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay.
So he goes on, and a lot of Ecclesiastes, he uses the phrase, under the sun. And what Solomon's meaning here is, in light of this world, just this world, not in light of eternity, just this world, under the sun, here. And so he's like, what does life look like when it's only viewed from a human perspective and not viewed in light of eternity? And so he explores this as well. And for us, like, it comes to when we seek meaning in temporary things. So without eternity, we all face the same fate. Yeah. So it doesn't matter if you're wise, if you're a fool, it doesn't matter if you're rich or if you're poor. It doesn't matter how you live your life here at all, because without eternity, we all just die. That's it.
We all face the same
like, that's it. There's no point. That's why he keeps saying everything is meaningless.
And I don't understand how. That's why, like, if you're contemplating, I'm just gonna get on my Jesus for that. If you don't know Jesus, this is the perfect time to know who Jesus is, because without Jesus, this world is nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, without eternity, like you said, we all face that same fate.
Yeah. And it ends here, and that's it.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
nothing else after this.
And then we go on to the turning point. This is the turning point. Oh, if Charlie Kirk was still here.
I
know. Sorry, I'm like a squirrel. I am. So it says, then I realized that these pleasures are from the hand of God. God gives wisdom, knowledge, and joy to those who please Him. Ecclesiastes 2:24. And our question would be, why do you think Solomon had to experience so much before reaching this conclusion? And my thinking is he had to experience so much because some lessons can't be simply taught. They have to be lived.
That's good.
Honestly, I think that we're often the same way. Sometimes God tells us something in His Word, but we still have to learn, just like our kids. Yep, they have to learn from experience. They have to learn, don't touch that. Touch it. Oh yeah, it hurt my hand. You know, like just like the little kids, we're the same way in a different, necessarily the same, but like we are. Does that make sense? We're always,
and I feel like we're always going to have this desire to, like, I have to find that out on my own. Like, I'm going to have to find that out all by myself.
And that's some of the hardest times. I too feel like some of the hardest times that I've been through, the seasons of life, and I'm sure you can attest to this, is like, you have to figure that out for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, and we can want something for someone else so badly, and I think this is where I'm sure everyone has someone in your life that you want something so badly for, that you're praying for them, you're wishing, but like ultimately sometimes that's just their decision. That's on them, and that's something
So
that you have no control over.
Yeah. Once they make this decision for themselves, then it's like, okay. Yeah.
What I also love about this is I think Solomon's journey shows us God's grace. Because God allowed him to search, to experience, and ultimately discover that what he was really looking for couldn't be found in the gifts. It could only be found in the giver.
I love that.
I love that. And that is God.
Yeah.
Isn't that what God does? He is so full of grace, and that's just typical God being himself.
He's like, yeah, go try it. Let me know how that works for you.
So I'm going to ask you, let me ask you something. How does trusting God change our perspective on work, pleasure, and wisdom?
It really just turns the spotlight from me and what I can do and what I can accomplish to what God has for me.
Yeah.
It's good.
Very, very, a lot of wisdom there.
Yeah. From Solomon.
So, I think closing, and then we're going to close this out, but
Yeah.
the story of a man who had the resources to test nearly every path people believe leads to fulfillment. He worked harder, achieved more, possessed more, enjoyed more, and knew more than most could ever imagine. Yet his search revealed a profound truth. Work, pleasure, and wisdom are gifts, but they are poor substitutes for God. Right?
Yep. Meaning is not found in what we can accomplish or enjoy or build.
Mm-hmm.
It's found in trusting God and doing His will and receiving every day just like it's a gift from His hand.
We would love for you to like, share, subscribe, all the things.
Yep.
Whatever platform you're on.
Yeah.
We
Watch
would
our
love that.
TikToks,
Yes.
so don't scroll too much.
Yes. We learned that today. And we love you guys.
Yes.
And you were made for much, much